What is up, everyone? Welcome back to No Cap Space. I'm Tyler, joined by Shawnee, and today we're back in country. No, today we added somebody else. Our very special guest. We made it happen from the stream
Turn
now
it
to
up.
the interview.
Turn it up.
Jaylyn, Sherrod, starting point guard for Colorado. Jaylyn, thank you for coming through.
No problem, no problem.
Listen,
Oh, we got
Jaylyn,
guests in the back too?
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
Hey, Jaylyn, first off, for real, thank you, because I know it's been a hell of a day for you already. You practiced this morning, you just flew, you're now in Albany, the host site of the games, the wonderful bright lights of Albany, New York.
They're gonna get you. They're gonna get you.
Jaylyn, I'm just happy we could be here after you took out the Big 12 team, and you came, you talked your talk, and you know what? I respect it so much, and I'm glad that we could be here now. And move past that. And
yeah, it's all love.
Oh, it is all love. We really do truly appreciate you.
It is now. It was beefing before the show, y'all. Don't believe.
No. Not the lost tapes. The lost tapes. Well, let's get into it, because obviously a huge matchup on deck. I want you to stop me if you've heard this before.
Oh, is it?
Colorado versus Iowa in the Sweet 16. I don't know if that sounds familiar. If this happened before or anything. Jaylyn, when you see this matchup on deck, obviously we know what happened last year. What are you taking from that game last year into this game to try and better prepare yourself?
I think just the maturity level of it all. I think when you play in a team like Iowa, you can get caught up into all the outside things, but at the end of the day, when you put it in perspective, it's still basketball. It's still the same game we've been playing since we was kids. So I think just the maturity level of all of it, and not really getting too high, get too low, trying to stay level-headed, is really big for us, because we it's emotional players on both sides. I know me myself, I'm very passionate and very energetic when it comes to the game, but just realizing that at the end of the day, it's about the basketball and the execution, and who really is able to execute their game plan.
So you're not gonna be bouncing the ball off your head or anything like that. Like, we're not gonna see.
I get through one question.
I'm just making sure. No, but just watching the tournament, knowing that there was a potential for this matchup again, do you take anything from what West Virginia or Holy Cross was able to do, or is it just like you were just watching as a fan, just seeing what's going on?
Yeah, you looked at what worked, you looked at what didn't work. But really it's all about the details. I think, when you look at the games, it's kind of that, you look at, oh well, it was a mixed box out here, or it was a long O board that teams missed out on. They gave second possessions. It's all X's and O's really that I look at, because at the end of the day, games are possession by possession, and it's really who wins most of their possessions that ends up winning the game. So I think it's all the little things and the details that we have to take care of.
I'm intrigued. You mentioned at the beginning, obviously, the brighter lights that come, obviously, whether it be personal reporters or all the article, whatever it is that comes with playing Iowa. You mentioned it there at the beginning. Is there anything different that kind of goes into the preparation when you know that this stage is, frankly, you're playing against a team that's arguably going to have the biggest stage no matter what point of a tournament? Is there any different preparation or trying to handle yourself, handle your teammates, anything of that nature that goes into this game differently?
No, I mean, we are who we are, and I think if you know me personally, I don't change up regardless of who I'm playing. I kind of come with the same approach no matter what, and I think my teammates do as well. All season, we've been talking about it's about us. Every game we've lost, every game we've won has been because we either executed what we were supposed to do or we didn't. It's nothing I don't think anybody within this program believes that anything another team did caused us to not do our jobs, caused us to not pay attention to detail. It was all things that we could have did better as individuals and as a collective. So we don't really try to point fingers and use cop-outs and say that somebody else did something and we just didn't do our jobs, and it's all about taking accountability. So I think we do a good job of that.
Okay, so with this team being on the spotlight, I'm talking about Iowa, right? There's been conspiracy theories. People be like, "Oh, the refs and the NCAA ain't gonna let them lose." Da, 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 da. Like officiating, I've seen a lot of people say like, "Oh, the refs are in their pocket." Da, 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 da. And that's just been like a topic of discussion the entire tournament. How have y'all kind of approached officiating? Like, is it at the beginning of the game, y'all kind of, do they let y'all know like we gonna let y'all play, or we're calling it tight, or like how do y'all gauge how the games are going to be officiated, and where do you go from there?
I mean, every game is different. I wouldn't say it's a bunch of consistencies. Every game is different in terms of people. Some games are more physical than others. Some games, it's called more tightly. But I think it's just about filling the game out from jump. And if you pick up a foul in the first 10 seconds of the game, then
you know what it is.
You know what time it is. Yeah.
And I just think that's common sense across the board. Like not just us in Iowa. I mean, in college basketball in general. I think you should just be able to fill the game out. And maybe that's just me talking because I've been playing college basketball for 5 years, and that's something you just learn in the process. But I don't think it's really any like I don't take any feel to it, because I know if I think about stuff like that, it'll take me out of my game, and then I'll start thinking and I'm not as aggressive as I want to be. And at the end of the day, it's win or go home. So you gonna go out with a bang regardless. It's kind of my approach to it, and that's been my approach the whole tournament, really. So, I don't think it's any other than, like I said, the common sense of realizing how the game's being called. But like I said, I think that's across the board, not just with this Iowa game.
So it's like going back to your point, like you really are not doing anything different to prepare for this. Like it's just we wake up, put our shoes on, and get the stretch. Yeah.
I mean that's who we are, and I think people. I understand the magnitude of the game for the media and things, but I'm not a journalist. None of my teammates are writers. Like the story's gonna write itself. We just gotta go out there and do our jobs, and like regardless of which way the story ends up going, if you go out there and do your jobs and you execute, let the chips fall where they may. It's nothing we're gonna do differently. And like I mean, on the flip side, it's nothing like Caitlin's been playing basketball for a long time. Her teammates have been playing with her for a long time, and they're a group as well. So it's not a lot of things that they haven't seen at this point that could be thrown at them. So it's just about playing our brand of basketball, and it's all about us at the end of the day. And it's really like Caitlin Clark is Caitlin Clark, and she's gonna be Caitlin Clark today, and she's gonna be Caitlin Clark tomorrow. It is what it is, It's not like it's nothing, magical that's gonna come out the air. She gonna be who she is, and her teammates are gonna be who they are. So it's all about realizing that and trying to do our jobs at the end of the day.
I'm writing down the story gonna write itself. That's my next Instagram caption. I hope you don't. Oh
my god.
I do. You mentioned though the accountability that this team takes, and like no matter what happens, win, lose, it's on us, and that stuck out to me there. Obviously, you guys at the end of the regular season, you kind of go through that skid at the end of the season, take a couple losses. I feel like you guys bounced back in the Pac-12 tournament, like the double, even though you lose in double overtime, like that was a battle against a very, very good team. That felt like Colorado was back at that point. What is the difference between this team that just beat Kansas State versus the team that was losing those games, like going on that losing skid? Was it just kind of rest and was it kind of just tiredness, or what would you kind of pinpoint as the difference between now and then?
I mean, for one, the Pac-12 is tough. Not to say Big 12 and
hey,
State is great. I'm not saying they're not tough to me.
We're Pac-12 believers over here. Listen, we know we've been on it. We've been on it. You can say it.
I fully believe the Pac-12 has been the best conference this season, across the board. And I think I mean, it's tough when I think in that time we was on that streak. We had played Oregon State, Utah, USC, and UCLA all back to back.
It was a stretch.
So, and they were all on the road as well. So I think in that time, like it was just tough to be honest, and we really wasn't I would say Oregon State and Utah, we really wasn't executing well. But I think once we got to USC, we were playing really good basketball. They just got hot and they were shooting the crap out of the basketball. Then UCLA, I mean, we held them to 53 points. We just couldn't get our offense going. So it was all about putting that together.
Yeah.
Which I think is what we needed to figure out, because we put up 80 something against USC and then gave up 88 points. But then we put up 48 against UCLA, but only gave up 53 points. So just putting our offense and defense together, feeding off of that, because our defense really propels our offense. So just getting back to what we do and who we are was important. And then the slip up against Washington State, they just hit some crazy shots in crunch time. She shot a three from damn near half court.
Yeah, it'd be like that
Which you would
sometimes.
give up. And
what can you
What
do?
are you gonna do about that? Like, yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah, so it was just like you kind of take that on the chin, and I think also we hadn't been in the space this season where it was more so like we were really pissed off, because when we were pissed off group, we're really good. Or when our backs are against the wall, I think we're a really good team. And I think going into the tournament with us not getting the hosting bid, it really left a sour taste in our mouth, because we thought we had did enough to host. And I wanted to make up for senior night because we didn't win on senior night. So I was like, maybe I'll get a chance to make it up at home, and leave Colorado with a win and just leave, what I started with on a positive note. But I think the fact that when we got, and especially like I said, no disrespect to Kansas State as a team, but Manhattan, Kansas too was just like, nah, bro, this is great. So it was just like, we gotta go out there and we gotta not like I said, it's a beautiful school, but Manhattan, Kansas is, I've never been to Kansas.
You said if we gotta go on the road,
no, listen, sexy matchups only.
Yeah, the whole middle part of this.
It was good though. It was a good environment. I know a lot of people's family came out. My mom took the drive up from Alabama, which I'm grateful for. So it was good to be able to play in front of friends and family. But I think just not getting the hosting bid really left a bad taste in our mouth. So that really put us back on track of like, all right, people are kind of doubting us. People really, don't think we deserve to host. We we lost a couple games, so now people are starting to question again how good is Colorado. And as like from last year, we know that that's really something we feed off of. So I think that really changed our mindsets a lot.
So coming into this game, do you guys what's the temperature around the team? Do y'all feel like y'all have your backs against the wall? Because this is a very high profile matchup, and it's coming from a perspective of like, oh, here's the she's been playing amazing. So when I say this is just here's the golden child, here's the hottest player right now, and then she's playing a team in the tournament, and y'all aren't really getting your shine as much as she is. Does that kind of fuel y'all in a sense? Do y'all feel like your backs are against the wall coming into this one?
I mean, we kind of know on paper it's not a game that people would, chalk us up on winning. But I think, and I said this in the beginning of the season when we played LSU, it's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving each other right. So it's not like, I don't think we're going into this game like, oh, let's prove everybody wrong and let's go out there and show them blah, blah, blah. It's not really. It's more so like, nah, we believe in what we're building here, so let's prove each other like we got each other's backs. We can go out here and really do this. And I think when you take it from an internal perspective, it's easy to kind of shut down all the outside stuff. So I think, like Jaylyn Clark deserves every bit of, she's changed the game of basketball. What she does is insane. Like, she's one of the best players, ever that plays in a basketball game. That's just the reality of the situation. But she's really just like, I also feel like at the same time they have so many weapons on that team that people really don't take into account either. So it isn't everybody let's stop Jaylyn Clark show. No, like they're a team. It's 5 people on the court.
Right.
And she's a great passer, which I don't think she gets a lot of credit for either. So I think at the end of the day, just realizing that, knowing that it's gonna be a team effort, for everybody, not just the person guarding Caitlyn. It's gonna be a team effort for everybody, and we all got to be locked in.
And
Yeah.
My bad, Tyler. Follow up on that, because you, as a defender, you said, you're a fierce competitor. You like the challenge. Like, how do you feel like this, raises your game, and what excites you about this matchup for, what you're able to do? Because, you be playing both sides of the ball. I want to make people aware of that in case they didn't know, you clutch and what have you, but you play both sides of the ball. So what about this matchup excites you, and, you're going to get to showcase your skills?
Honestly, it's just another opportunity, and I think over this past year, I've had a great opportunity to play against some great high-powered players. We started with LSU. We've seen Judy Watkins twice this year. So it's not like, and again, maybe it's because I've been playing basketball for 5 years, but it's not really a lot of things I haven't seen. Like,
right.
I played Caitlin Clark last year, so it's not.
You've been around,
It's nothing I haven't seen before. It's nothing like it's. Oh, and I got to bring out a whole nother. And I'm pretty like good on picking up what other people do. Just across the board to see what works, what doesn't work. Okay, you can't do this, you can do this. So I think it's just more so just the opportunity in itself is a blessing. We want 16 teams playing right now. And everybody else could be on spring break right now, but we still being able to chase our goals.
Cancun on 3. Cancun on 3.
So I just think at the end of the day, like, I don't know, it's all perspective for me right now. I'm really not into the hype of the game and all the extra stuff, because it's real easy to get distracted. So
you live your raps, because you've been really like, it's about us, it's about the internal, and it's about like, because I know, like,
first talks, this is
the most high pressure situation, the high pressure point of the season for everybody. And y'all are 16 teams left. Everybody wants a championship. Just from a mental health, like, how do y'all as a team, is there anything you need to do different since it's, a bigger stage and more eyeballs and stuff like that? Like, because I know, like, it can get a little anxious and what have you. So how do y'all kind of like approach it, if at all, any differently?
I can't speak for everybody on my team. But I don't think we've ever been like a highly anxious group. But like I said, we play better when our backs are against the wall. So I don't think that's like, we look at things like, oh, we're going against this person or we're playing this team. Like, we started the season with LSU. So
it's been smoke from the beginning. You ain't lying.
And I personally think LSU is a more like aggressive, talking to you type team than personally.
You've played them both, so
I'm sure people would agree.
I think in that in itself is like, you know what you're going against, you know what you're about to see. But it's not about that. Like, at the end of the day, if we go out there, and like I said, the story writes itself. You go out there, compete, do your jobs, you end up beating LSU. And I know that was the first game of the season, and they had a lot of, like, they had to still mesh together and figure themselves out too. But, like,
hey, but a win's a win. Ain't no footnotes in the win column.
No. We had to figure our stuff out too. And I think at the end of the day, that connectivity that we have with each other, and just the ability to sit here and say, like, I need you to do your job so we can get to where we're trying to get to is big. And I think, we're a veteran team too, so I think that has a lot to do with it.
Jaylyn, you've talked so much about the team aspect. This is like in your eyes and your team's eyes, this is Colorado versus Iowa and nothing else. So I want to ask about one of your teammates because after the Kansas State game in the post game, J.R. Payne talked about how you said, "Coach, put Tamia Sadler." I hearing it from Coach Payne's perspective was incredible, because I mean, frankly, and this is like in the best way possible. Like I've never seen that. Like in that way, like we really hear that in that way, where a player of your caliber takes that leadership and does that. From your perspective, can you kind of walk me through that whole kind of situation, like just kind of from start to finish, where you had the first thought to going to Coach Payne and letting him know, like, hey, she's hooping right now, she's cooking, like, to leave her in the game. We got team business to take care of. Like, take me through that.
Well, from a personal, it started from me from jump, and I'm very transparent. I came into the Kansas State game kind of on like I just wasn't myself, and I think kind of which I don't think a lot of people talk about, but kind of the realization that these games could be my last basketball games, kind of set in. I don't know why I set in against Kansas State. I don't know, why it, like hit me in that moment, but I think because I even talked to Coach Jay before the game, and I was like, man, like this could really be it. Like I'm in Kansas State in Manhattan, Kansas, and I could be playing my last basketball game. And I just didn't want to go out like that. And I think that, like I said before, I don't really work well because I'm a thinker, so I don't really work well when I'm thinking about things. So going into the game, throughout the course of the game, like I did good things, but I just wasn't in a flow. And so when Tania came in, and I think they went on like that group went on like a 8-0 run, and they really separated the game, and subbed him out for a couple minutes, and then I had came down and I got a 3-second turnover, and I looked at JR and I said, "Get me," because they were setting the way they were guarding. To me, it was hitting the shot that they were willing to give up. And she had hit it like twice already, so I was like, "Get me," because Tam can run the one, and Kendall was also in the game at the time, and they could alternate. And I said, "Get me," because the game was like 6 points at that time, and I didn't want us to get tight. I wanted us to stay with the flow we had, so I know that they had that flow going on with that group. And it's crazy because so many people texted me after the game, like, "Why were you yelling at JR? Why were you yelling at JR like that?" And I was like, "Because I was telling her to get Tam in the game," and I know on TV it looked like I was being very hostile, but I was just telling JR to get me and put Tam in the game. Because she was doing what we needed, and I just recognized in that moment, like I trusted Tam. I knew this was her shot, and if they were gonna give it up, she was gonna have the confidence to pull it every single time. And I think she hit a clutch pull up that put us up 7, and it just took off from there. So it wasn't really like I guess in that moment I was just more so thinking about how we can get the win, and I knew at that point in time, like what I was giving wasn't what was needed, and what Tam was giving was needed. So it wasn't. I didn't even put much thought to it. I didn't realize the magnitude of what I did until a lot of people talked about it after the game. Immediately, I was just like, it is what it is. And I think in that moment too, it gave me a moment to settle myself, and kind of just cheer on my teammates and be a supporter. And I was talking to Tam throughout that moment. I was like, it's your moment. Like, you got this. Like, let's go. Do what you're supposed to do and do what you do. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I didn't really put much thought to it.
Which I think is also a testament to the teammate that you are, that it wasn't even a thought. Like, because like I said, there's just not many players that that I imagine, obviously more so on the outside looking in, but of your caliber, that are just gonna have that thought. Like, it's I'm gonna figure it out or something like that. Is and like I said, that is incredibly, like, in the best way. Like, that is a huge testament to the team. Yeah. I also just kind of want to ask on a kind of a different note, because Shawnee mentioned the kind of day-to-day, like the mental health aspect of going through the tournament. But you're a player, and I tweeted this out. I'm gonna say it. I said it then. I said it on the stream. I'm gonna say it now. You give 100%, and then you go find 25% more just to surprise you, and then 5% more for the love of the game. And I don't like bringing NBA players up or anything, but genuinely the only other player I've seen like that is Russell Westbrook. Like, you and Russell Westbrook.
But turn that up.
Hello, Oklahoma. but genuinely, like, those are you and Russell are the only two players in my life I've ever seen that has that motor every single game, every minute that you're in. When you're going through a tournament like this, can be such a gauntlet, whether it be the travel or just the games being so close together. How are you physically? Is there anything that you're doing differently just to keep that motor up because of the energy that you exert throughout these games and every single minute that you're in?
No, not really.
Yeah. Is it just hoop? Like, is it like, do you feel that difference? Like, when you're in a tournament setting like this, whether it be like a conference or a March Madness tournament?
No, not really. I mean, in the Pac-12, we play Friday, Sunday, so we already
right. That's true. That's true.
I'm kind of used to that. because we 1 day preparation before your Sunday game is normal.
That's a great point. Yeah.
But I mean, this is just me, and I'm not to say like I've gotten a little older now. My bones hurt sometimes. I be having to roll out of bed sometimes. But I mean, when it comes to basketball, I think like it's really our perspective, and it's something that I get to do. It's not something that's just given. Like I said, we're one of 16 teams playing right now, and that's a opportunity that a lot of people don't have. So I think just taking that into perspective and just knowing who I am, like this is what I do, and I've been consistent in that since I started playing ball in general, not just college, but I come to the game with that energy and that effort, and you're gonna see my love for the game through how I play it. So I don't really it's nothing. And then I guess on the flip side too, on the mental aspect, I just try to always kind of keep myself grounded. Like really do what works for me. Like I get my, I talk to our team. She's not a chaplain, but she is a pastor. So talk to her and I keep my mental right. And even in this approach to the game, this next game, I talked to JR about it, and I was like, every time we've made the tournament these past 3 years, we've been matched up with Iowa, or we would have been matched up with Iowa. Our first year we played at Iowa, and Creighton got hot and just knocked all of us off.
They were. That was crazy.
Yeah, and then last year we played Minnesota State and this year as well. So I kind of take it from I look at things from what they are, and I think sometimes when God has you on a path and he has a path for you and something that he needs you to get through to get to where you need to go, he'll keep putting the same test in front of you. And I think that's just what I've kind of taken that mentality too. Like you keep getting the same test because he needs you to pass it. And so I think that's just kind of how I've taken this approach to the game. Which is probably why.
Come on, man. Come on, Jaylyn.
Well, so like I seem so calm about it because I just know like it's at the end of the day it's basketball and it's a test that's been put in front of us, and either you're gonna pass it or you're not. So that's why I guess why I'm not really so caught up in the media part of things. And I also learned my lesson from last year because you talked to the media and it became, Colorado's calling Caitlin Clark out and they're gonna do it, and I was like, whoa. They leave the whole part out about it saying she's great, she's good. Like, all that out.
That darn media.
Yeah. I don't even talk enough.
Where'd you get these words from? This is AI.
Not AI. Not like ChatGPT, the trash talk.
Yeah, so learning my lesson from that one for sure.
But like last question from me.
Yeah.
Just taking a second to kind of reflect and appreciate where you are right now. What is the difference, in this tournament versus your first? Like, is there better swag bags? Because I know y'all can use March Madness now, the official title. Like, is the swag better? Is the travel better? Like, what's, what are some things that are standing out to you about this trip as a fifth year?
From an outside perspective, I would say just the attention that this tournament has brought. This season of women's basketball in general has been crazy. I was literally joking with my teammates the other day, and I was like, man, what they put in these kids' water? Because I was not Juju and Hannah Hidalgo. And what they on? Like,
ridiculous.
Like, you can't tell me like. And I mean, in general, I've never seen a group of freshmen like this. Ever. And it's been freshmen to go to South Carolinas and the UConns who still wasn't like that when they just came into the game. So I was like, this is crazy. Like, just the growth and the I guess evolution of women's basketball has really taken off, and being a part of that. It's just another sense of pride, like to know like is people really out here watching the game, and is people really enjoying what we're doing. I think that in itself makes it fun to play in, and it's just more fun to be a part of. But I would say from a personal aspect, I was 19, 20 when we first got to our first NCAA tournament. I'm 22 now, so I just have
Huh.
grown as a player, and I know I'm still on the younger side to be a fifth year too. I know that, but um, I think just the maturity level and knowing, like I said, like I can't be the emotional kid I was at 18, 19 going into this game. I can't, you know, get frustrated when a call doesn't go my way. I can't get frustrated when the fans are, yapping at you and in turn, my initial instinct is to yap back. Like that doesn't help the team. That doesn't help the connectivity. It kind of puts you on your own island. And, I think knowing that I have a position on a team that could go good or bad puts a lot of more perspective on me that I have to be level. I have to be sitting there. I have to, if things are going really well and my team needs the energy, I have to provide that. If I'm not providing
Mm-hmm.
good energy, I have to find a way to provide that. I have to put my own personal ego and pride aside for the best of the
Mm.
team. I think that's a lesson that I've learned this year for sure, because I know that, like I said, my energy can be taken in a good way or it can be taken in a bad way. It has a lot of influence on my teammates. And so I have to do what I need to do, even though I sometimes don't want to make sure everybody's in a good space, because when Nettie and Frida and Maddie and Quay and Kendall are all in good spaces, we're a dangerous team to beat. So I think just knowing my impact on this ball club, and realizing that throughout this season has kind of put things into perspective for me. Specifically going into the next game,
Yeah.
as well, and knowing that I got to be on the floor with my teammates, and I got to be level, and I got to be a great communicator and keep everybody here because they're gonna go on runs. And like Kansas State went on a run. We were down 9 at one point in the game. And I don't even think I realized that we were down 9. And we just rode the wave and fought ourselves back, and it was a 2-point game going into halftime. So I think just staying level is a really big responsibility for me. So
Yeah, Jaylyn, you mentioned this will be the last question. We'll let you get out of here. I know it's been a long day for you, but
no, y'all good.
yeah.
It's 7 o'clock my time.
Oh, so you're
She
9 o'clock
almost
what?
where I'm at.
got
30 more minutes. No. Well, I would you mentioned obviously the growth of women's basketball as a whole this season. So chances are there's going to be people watching this game that haven't watched Colorado basketball this season, or haven't seen you play individually, haven't seen this team play. If you were to describe, because and you also mentioned the love of the game and how that shows through your game, and that's I feel like the thing that sticks out the most to me when I watch you play is like she's obviously about this. Like this is what she does. For you, what do you hope if someone is watching Colorado for the first time, watching you for the first time? What do you hope they leave this game saying about Colorado?
About Colorado, that
You in Colorado,
we
yeah.
are our goal every game is to be the toughest, hardworking, most disciplined team, no matter who we're playing. That's the goal. That's the standard. So I hope we meet that standard. That's our job. That's what we come into. That's what we said we were going to do in the beginning of the season. That's been what's been communicated since I've been here, since I was 17. That's been the goal. So I think that, and just knowing like we're a tough group of kids who aren't your 5 stars. Who we don't have one McDonald's All American. We just a bunch of kids who came from different places, different aspects of life, who just came together and say like, we are who we are and we believe in who we are. And you don't need the 5 stars in the McDonald's All American to be great. You can be great with what you have if you embrace how you win. And I think Colorado in general, and specifically this team right here, have embraced how we win. We don't try to do anything different. We stick to who we are and believe that that's going to lead us to success. Me personally, I think I said this to Haley Jones on a podcast, but if I'm not the most energetic and passionate player on the court, then I didn't do my job that night. And I really hold myself to that standard, because I know, like, on paper I'm not the best shooter, the best passer. I might not be the best scorer on the court. That's not even my goal. But if I'm not the most energetic and passionate player and giving my all, then I didn't come to play that day. And so I think that's really what that's the standard I hold myself to. And I even was talking to my trainer from home other day, and I was like, if I don't dive out of bounds or hit something, or I ain't play hard enough. That's just
you do that a lot. I ain't gonna lie. You be hitting that mark
so
a decent amount.
if I ain't gotta take a breath on the ground and get myself together, then I ain't play hard enough. I ain't tired enough. So
I know this is very Russell Westbrook-esque.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's right there. You have me that Kansas State game, you have me a little worried. You went to the cameraman. I was like, oh damn, and I was like, oh, it's Jaylyn.
Man, I swear, like getting hit with a broken nose when it's already broken. Really broke it. Like it's really. I was like, wow.
This really hurts.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe that hurts. You got the whole. Wait, okay. I know I said last question, but now I gotta ask about the mask. How is it? How is the mask? First off, like, is it? Does it actually does it feel different?
It's really, I mean, it's really comfortable. I think because it was Washington where I broke my nose, and then Washington State, we had the clear one and it was not working. Like, I mean, y'all, if you see the pictures, like I played the whole game with black eyes and not a mask on. My mom was so stressed that I was gonna get my mom and my trainer were so stressed that I was gonna get hit again. But I just couldn't do it. I think it was just, and I think also that fear when it just initially happened 2 days before of getting hit again, kind of was in my head. So I was like, take the mask off. Just you gotta go. Like if you get hit, you get hit. We'll figure it out later.
Oh Lord.
I know why mom was stressed.
This is why mom was stressed. Lord.
It makes sense now.
But the mask really is comfortable. It doesn't bother me. I think my teammates embraced it more than I did initially, and then I think everybody has just ran with it. Yeah. So, I mean, it's fun, and it kind of, for who I am and how I carry myself, I think it's fitting. So I've embraced it now, and
Sherrod.
The whole world will see it because we playing on ABC on Sunday.
Yeah, everyone's gonna see it.
Hey, so you got a special one? You got like a little gold one with the black, and then you got a buffalo. Yeah, look at
you. We can get you a no cap space mask.
I know. I told my trainer because he worked hard to get that mask in before we went to Pac-12. I said, man, I'm gonna sign it for you so you can keep it. Because I actually have tried to move on from it by now because it's broken. It's broken. There's nothing we can do about it until after season. Because I'm not about to have surgery for it right now or anything like that. So I was like, man, it's broken. But he was like, no, you're wearing it. Like literally yesterday in practice, I was like, I'm gonna just practice without it. He was like, go put the mask on, man.
You stressing them out, Jaylyn. You stressing them out.
They should be used to it by now. We didn't been through a lot.
They're not new to this.
They should be used to it by now.
That is hilarious. But Jaylyn, we're gonna be watching with everybody else for Sherrod on, and now we know if you throw it off, we know.
Mask on.
Like we know what time it is. But Jaylyn, we really do genuinely appreciate you for all the love, for showing up today. Obviously, like I said, it's practice this morning, flew to Albany, then hopped on with the no cap space, a real one, Jaylyn. You got people in the background. But Jaylyn, we for real, we appreciate you. Doors always open. Obviously, we're gonna wish you the best.
Now we know it's you.
Yeah. Now we. Well, we know if you in the comments, if you see Jaylyn in the comments, you know who it is.
I appreciate all the support throughout the year, and y'all been riding with us. So, I did have to get on you about the K-State game.
It's all love,
it was only right. It was only right.
No, I'm with you.
I had to talk a little trash to you about that.
Listen,
look, if you need some Tyler memes, I'll send them to you.
Hold on, man. I think Jaylyn just fine on her own.
Actually, originally they had us playing at Oklahoma, and
I know. I was watching.
I was like, oh man.
Taylor was gonna point at me on the sideline, like, you, Tyler, you, like, shoot the three, and Bam, like right after.
I was like, man, this gonna be fun. But
Damn it, an episode.
Oh my God, Jaylyn was gonna go for 50 on me. She was gonna go Aoka Lee on me. Oh my God.
We would have had a great graphic. You just dunking on Tyler.
God.
Oh man, that would have been. Oh, that would have been promo. What could have been? What could have been?
What could have been is right. But now we're in the present now, and Jaylyn, we're excited to see you do your thing against Iowa. Like I said, best of luck. And as always, doors wide open. But make sure that you guys stay tapped in here with the No Cap Space. We're going to be live doing post-game shows after every day of games here in March Madness. So make sure you stay tapped in with that. The Twitter, the Substack, the Playback, we're everywhere. It's all free. Go follow. And we'll see you next time in the No Cap Space.